Today I will be discussing embodied beauty, feminizing Chinese ceramics in 18th century China and Europe by Feng. Feng studied art history, museology, art market studies, and transcultural studies in Nanjing, Shanghai, and Heidelberg. From 2013 to 2014, he was an assistant research curator at the Museum of Shanghai University, where he led provenance research and cooperated widely to curate exhibitions. Since 2016, he is a PhD candidate in the Institute of East Asian Art History at Heidelberg University. Throughout this essay, Feng touches on the neglected dimension of gender in the study of ceramics and how femininity was embodied into the medium. Throughout the essay, Feng argues that while the representation of Chinese women is by no means an overlooked topic in the history of Chinese art and material culture, the visualization of sensory perception in respect of the female body is an understudied subject. Earlier studies on the relationship between porcelain and figurative descriptions of women focus on terms such as clean, white, collectible, and luxurious. This is the same in examples of 18th century English fiction and poetry, where Asian women are seen as representations of luxury and pleasure. This can be seen in similar descriptions of Chinese ceramics as well, especially focusing on figurative descriptions of women compared to pottery wares. Throughout this essay, Feng focuses on three essential aspects of this issue to support his findings: textual metaphor, visual metaphor, and pictorial representation. Through these, he is specifically looking at porcelain and its relationship to Chinese women and how the idea of the body relates to pottery description. Keywords. So mostly used in context when describing porcelain wares is when these terms were used throughout the essay. Mei Ren meant beautiful woman. Mei Ren Zhang meant the shoulders of beauty, which reflected in the terms of talking about the neck of a ware or the body of a ware. Yuazu means raw silk, and Wawa Lian means baby's face, which is the name of a porcelain glaze that had a general pink tone. Textual metaphor. Feng cites that there is textual evidence as early as the Qin dynasty of comparisons of porcelain to the female figure. In an edited volume titled Yangzhan Mintao Lu, which Feng uses as his primary example, Wu Qian collected contemporary commentaries on ceramic production and treatises regarding the aesthetic application of pottery. Within this collection was the work entitled Mingho Fu, which the author, Wu Meideng, made detailed comments on potter's sills and products based on his personal contacts and experiences. After praising Zhu Yuquan's works, which imitated shapes of bronze vessels from the Han Dynasty, Wu Meideng compared different shapes of Zhu's other works to the parts of the female body. Throughout the text, he utilized words like Mei Ren and Mei Ren Zhang to explain how he matches the spirit of pottery vessel with that of a woman's shoulders. Other examples included a Ziji teapot, symbolizing the breast of a legendary beautiful lady, and the decoration of a thin middle part of a certain vessel is compared to the waist of a female covered by yuezu, which is fine silk. Another example is Chinese potters who use a thin bamboo knife to refine the clay biscuit of a teapot before firing. This metaphor here implies the shape of the teapot is as elegant as the shoulders of a charming woman trying to pick up lotus fruits from a pond upon sunset. Besides textual metaphors comparing ceramic shape and glaze to the female body, another type of metaphor derives from visual materials. For example, the Yunxian garment was a type of collar originally worn to demonstrate distinction by women, woven in colorful silk thread to form a cloud decoration. This cloud pattern later appeared on yuan blue and white porcelain, as well as floristic decoration and imagery of cranes, water waves, and the lotus. Vases and large ceramics with the pattern not only served as unique social objects for the owner, but at the same time manifested their taste and aesthetic sentiment for the material metaphor of the female body. The pattern and its affiliation with the garment relates back to Feng's earlier trope of the beauty shoulder, discussed in the description of the porcelain body as the garment attached to the female neck and shoulder, which was imitated onto porcelain to visualize the quality of the female body and femininity. Pictorial representation. The female body has been a painting motif in Chinese art since its early beginnings, and it's maintained a prevalent status throughout the early modern period. The dancer motif is defined by four constituting visual elements, usually one or two dancing females, a musical performance, a field for dancing, in which most cases would be a garden scene, and occasionally a rug on which the dancer performs. The dancer design was favored for its porcelain due to its theatrical narratives, which again, as Feng reiterates, was especially favored for the visualization of the female body. This design was first used on porcelain in the Qing dynasty, showing detailed imagery of dancing scenes in both sets of wares and individual pieces when their popularity rose overseas in Europe. The arrival of the dancer motif brought iconographic codes, both no cultural capital to interpret them. The dancer motif, therefore, is culturally translated as a symbol for Chinese women in multiple incarnations. The dancer accumulated different identities due to the necessity of theatrical narrative. Chinese ceramics served as one of the most far-reaching means by which the image of the Chinese dancer circulated in European everyday life during the long 18th century. Overall, I thought Feng was pretty clear and concise in his analysis of the cultural practice of feminizing ceramics, especially in including its shape, glaze, and decorative patterns in comparison to the female body. The metaphors he used referencing beauty's shoulders, blush as glaze, concentrate on the trope of the female body, and relate to many other instances in ceramics and art history of three-dimensional works being created in the image of the female figure, or relating in some way in tropes and metaphors to the female body.